one of the biggest problems we in India face is, for those who are familiar, it's insulin resistance, right?
Yes.
So, somebody has insulin resistance or a pre-diabetes. What are your some immediate things you can do to improve on the condition?
Okay. There are many steps you can take, but I'm sure, like in your practice, Dev, and in my practice, there are three simple things that I think you can do from day one. Okay. Number one, let's come to why you have probably reached to a level of insulin resistance is control your ultra processed food intake. I think that if you just look at the statistics, the way the industry is booming, the amount of food dollars or food rupees that are being spent towards eating out, and especially in the ultra processed food category, which has only been growing. If you also look at data from the surveys that say that as population's purchasing power increases, they actually spend, and people progress from a lower middle class to a middle class to a slightly higher middle class, they are not necessarily spending their this extra money or this delta that they've achieved on healthier food options, but a large part is going out to ultra processed food. So if there is something that, forget low carb and keto and all of that, if the number one thing that you can do is stop eating ultra processed food of every kind, and people forget that ultra processed food is a heavenly combination of refined fat, refined carbs, and salt, right? So that's your first thing. Just drop that consumption. You will see changes immediately. Second, I think what you should do is fix your protein intake. Okay. So when you fix your protein intake, and like we all know, India, 70% of India is protein deficient. Even so-called meat-eating, non-vegetarian families do not hit their protein intake. So the minute you fix your protein consumption on a daily basis, the only other food that you will actually stop eating is excessive refined carbs, which in our case is largely wheat and rice, right? So that's the second thing that you should do. Third thing that I will tell you, because people have limited time, okay? If you really want to attack insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, diabetes, invest whatever time you have in strength training. Okay, that is far more. I know we love walking in our country. I know it's been advocated, and I know I myself advocate for it. But if you have limited time, let's say you have 45 minutes for 3 to 4 days in a week, you are better off always having a resistance training protocol, because muscle is the first site of glucose disposal. In fact, I think it was that study that came out, right? That every 45 minutes to 1 hour, 10 air squats, which is done probably 6 to 7 times in a day, is more effective at reducing your glucose levels than a 45-minute to 1 hour walk done continuously. So the reason is very simple. That's because resistance training has the power, and automatically you will be building muscle over a period of time. So these are the three simple, right now, actionables that one should take. And then, of course, something that you can build slowly is fasting. Fasting is not immediate, like you and me both know. That requires some amount of time to become a habit. But these first three are very important.
So
Right.
once people start improving their metabolic flexibility, metabolic health by following these things which you advised, what are the common pitfalls or problems they start facing?
Okay, so I think before metabolic flexibility comes only once you fixed your metabolic health. Okay, you're not going to have, and for the audience, I just want to kind of tell what metabolic flexibility is. It's very simple. It is the ability to use alternative sources of energy on demand without a lot of difficulty and quickly adapt to it. So let me again elaborate a little bit. For in case of human beings, it is the ability to use fat or ketones as energy fuel. Let's say when you're fasting without a lot of trouble. And then when you start eating or consuming some glucose and glucose metabolism comes into place, you're able to eat glucose and not store it as fat, right? So that is, but it will take a little bit while to get to metabolic flexibility, because the inability to have metabolic flexibility to begin with on a spectrum starts causing metabolic syndrome. Okay. So we need to reverse metabolic syndrome, then move into metabolic flexibility. Now, what are the pitfalls that happen when you want to become healthy or when you want to address metabolic syndrome is people overwhelm themselves by having a all or nothing approach. Okay. You will wake up one fine day and say, I'm going to cut all the sugar out of my life. I'm never eating out. I'm going to keep my carbs to 50 grams in a day. I'm never eating these vegetables. I'm never touching these fruit. It doesn't work like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do 10,000 steps. Okay. Give it 2 days. The minute you have one remotely stressful event in your life, it could be like a project delivery at work, or it could be a late night shift, or it could be a child who's unwell, it could, whatever. The first thing that you will compromise on is your food. Okay. And everything comes back. Not only that, the other thing that happens is the body doesn't like so many changes at one go. Like we discussed earlier, if you have to make it sustainable, you have to do it slowly. Okay. So week 1, the way I say it, stack on habits, like the James Clear method of stacking on. Stack on habits 1 week after another, after achieving one win after another. Then you will be able to stack on those habits longer and make it sustainable, and it will become like second skin to you. So let's say week 1, all you will say is, I won't eat ultra processed food this week. Then your week 2 can be, okay, I will cut down my refined carbs consumption in 1 meal. Okay. Week 3, you can say, I will introduce more fiber. Week 4, you will say, okay, I will bring in 1 day or 2 days of strength training, let's say over a weekend. Okay. So what happens when you do this is any good habit when done, or any good thing done over a period of time, it reinforces, it builds neuroplasticity. So you have confidence, you activate the motivation factor in yourself because you've rewarded yourself, and you're better at building and stacking those habits, right? Versus if you say tomorrow I will do everything, and then the third day you fail, you have to start from the scratch, and then you're dealing with that feeling of disappointment that, hey, you know what, I failed in 3 days. So Rome was not built in a day. Your metabolic syndrome did not happen overnight. It's not going to go back overnight. Okay. So this is possibly the number 1 pitfall. Okay. That's 1. 2 is doing things that are probably, not well researched, or, falling for the next advice that you see on social media. Okay. Right. So I will drink, somebody suddenly you open your social media. If you see in the last 6 months, everybody is drinking okra water. Okay. And they believe that the soluble fiber that is coming out of the sticky okra, that's some magic when you drink it for diabetes. So you can just eat normal bhindi, you'll be okay. You'll get the insoluble fiber, and it's unless you bring in a lot of changes. So trying to do or fall behind this one shortcut or one quick fix will not help, because the body doesn't function like that. Okay. So I think these 2 are the most common mistakes. Otherwise, if you're a little patient with yourself, you will see that sustainability becomes better.